What is going on, everybody? You got Tone here, and I am back after a long time off. Now, just for like a slight update before I go any further into this video, so if you guys have noticed in terms of my channel and whatnot, that I really haven't uploaded anything since the finale of the MPA Minors, just about a month ago. And the reason for the long hiatus afterwards, like I said, I had some plans and whatnot in terms of what I wanted to do post, like past the MPA Minors, and to be perfectly honest, like I was just like spent after that, after the finals and whatnot, and the whole preparing for the finals, and like it was just like a whirlwind. Like after that thing just died, after the MPA Minors ended, the final match was played, I recorded and whatnot, I just wanted to like take a step back, because the one thing I didn't want to do was get too overwhelmed, and I didn't want to just like keep jumping into draft league content. I feel as though that I would take a break, like just step away from draft league content for a bit, and then go back into it like after about a month. Like it's been about a month since I last did anything draft content related or uploaded anything on my channel, but that's pretty much the long and short of it. So yeah, so I took a break for about 3 weeks, and I definitely feel a lot better. I don't feel like worn out or whatnot, so the first thing I ended up doing was, well, for starters, the MPL Minors Season 5 will be starting pretty soon, I think within the next week or two, something like that. But so we already did our draft and whatnot, so some draft analysis will come up for that probably sometime in the next week or so. I don't know exactly when, but battles for that will be starting up pretty soon. And then the other thing I wanted to do was immerse myself into a Wi-Fi league, because if you guys remember, the last time I did anything in terms of Wi-Fi draft league content on my channel was way back in November in the MPL semifinals. Since then, I haven't done any Wi-Fi battles, and I felt as though at the very least I wanted to like shake off any rust or whatnot. So what I ended up doing was, so I joined this like small league called the PLC, and from there it was just like giving me an idea to like immerse myself back into content, just trying to get myself reacquainted with the tiers and whatnot, get reacquainted with the mons. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on here. So this new league is called the PLC, the Pokemon League Championship. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and we're gonna go over my draft recap, why I picked what I did. So first and foremost, a couple of things to say before I actually go into my draft recap. Two things actually. The first is, if you see my team, like if you're wondering how did I get some of these Pokemon, where I got them, as I said already, that there was only 10 teams in this league, so the picks came pretty quick, and people got like some very strong teams, and I'm no exception to that. I really like my team in general, I'm not gonna lie. And the other thing is the tiering system was a little bit different. It still had the same tier 1, tier 2, 2 tier 3s, a tier 4, a tier 5, the mega, and then free picks. But you might be wondering, like some Pokemon may be a little bit higher, some Pokemon may be a little bit lower than you expect them to be, but that's just how the tiering system works for this league. And one other thing, and the other thing I wanted to get to was Well, if you guys know, there was something in the works I did wanted to do for like future leagues, and that main thing I wanted to do was to start a new franchise. Not saying that the main Red Clawsters are going to be going away, that the main Red Clawsters are still going to be my main team for the MPO Minors, but I feel as though, considering it's a new year, at least for me because this is my first video of 2018, but I felt as though it was time to new year, let's give birth to a new franchise. So I had this planned out for quite a while now, after thinking of the name and having someone help me out with like the logo and all that stuff. So as you see on your screen, the PLC draft won't be represented by the main Red Clawsters. No. The new franchise for my team, for my league, for the PLC, for Tone, is now going to be not the main Red Clawsters for this league, but we are going to be taking our talents to South Beach, and we are now the newly franchised Miami Malamarlins. So first and foremost, props goes to Andrew, aka Muse the Best, who actually made this logo for me. I absolutely love the design. The Malamar looks incredible. You see the M on top of its head. It looks amazing. I'm not gonna lie. Of course, also still shouts to Dallas Boy 1992, who made the main Red Clawsters logo for me about a year ago. It's hard to believe it's already been a year for that. But anyway, this is the new team name for me. We are rocking the Miami Malamarlins, and we are ready to rock and roll for this league. So with that out of the way, I'm now going to jump into my draft analysis, recap, whatever you want to call it, for my team. So the draft order was randomized. Out of 10 teams, I had the number 4 pick in the draft. And what I really wanted to do with my team was pretty much what I've done when I was coaching the main Red Clawsters, and that was draft Pokemon that had versatility. When I got to my pick, there were a few Pokemon that I was looking at that did pique my interest. Like, for example, Tapu Lele is allowed in this league, but Tapu Lele wasn't the type of Pokemon I felt like trying to take round 1. Not saying it's a round 1 pick by any means, but I like to have the ability to be versatile on every aspect as much as I can in terms of versatility. Something that can bring more than just one particular set. Not saying that Lele can't do that, but it was another Pokemon that I was definitely eyeing the entire time when I was looking at the draft board. And with the number 4 pick in the draft, we ended up getting Celesteela. So Celesteela is our round 1 pick. And just to note, all teams in the league does get one Pokemon to be their Z captain, and of course Celesteela is going to be my Z captain for the team. So Celesteela, what more can you really say about it? Steel flying typing, amazing stat distribution, beast boost. The ability to run can be run both offensively and defensively is a huge boon to have, especially for a Pokemon like Celesteela, which is just stupid, incredibly annoying to face, and even better to like use in practice. So I've used Celesteela once before in ICBA, and it was fun using it, but I think this time around I have a better idea of using Celesteela. Like, the structure that I have with Celesteela is a lot more balanced out as opposed to the last time I used Celesteela, when my team was just like very, very bulky and very, very defensive. I feel like my team is definitely not that way anymore. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Celesteela. It's the ability to go offensive or defensive is what drew my attention to Celesteela right away. The fact that it's my Z captain means that all ton of my sets become that much more threatening. physical special stats crazy good. Defensively, it's stupid good. It'd be even more broken if it had Roost, but can't get everything in life, right? So that is my round 1 pick, Celesteela. And going into this draft, building around Celesteela, I knew one of the main things I wanted to do was Celesteela was to pair up Celesteela with something that can take on its weaknesses, being fire and electric. So the first thing that came to mind was dragon types. So there were some very good dragon type Pokemon available for me. Round 2, there was Salamence available, Zygarde was available when it got back to me, but there was one Pokemon I really wanted to pair with Celesteela. And while Zygarde did get back to me, there was something else that piqued my interest, opposing other than Zygarde, and that Pokemon ended up being Garchomp. So Celesteela Garchomp, very solid, balanced core. It can be a solid offensive core, defensive core. Garchomp, another versatile mon, being able to set up Stealth Rock, can be tanky defensive set, can run Choice Scarf, Sword Stance. The list goes on. And they complement each other very well, with Celesteela resisting, taking care of Garchomp's Fairy Dragon weakness. And at the same time, Garchomp resists fire, it's immune to electric, so the main thing I have to be worried about is they do have that ice neutrality, so if it's something I do address in the drafts, which I'll get into when I get there. But again, Garchomp is just, I felt as though Garchomp was a little bit better for me in terms of versatility. Not saying Zygarde was a bad pick, was a bad mon for me, but I just felt as though Garchomp does offer me a little bit more, and mainly because of the fact that I did want to get something that isn't too predictable. While I could have gotten Zygarde because, you know, the whole 1,000 Arrows thing, but I didn't want to be like that one person with no Zygarde, with the Celesteela Zygarde combination, and then I felt either or would have worked in terms of Celesteela Zygarde, Celesteela Garchomp. I mean, if Zygarde got Stealth Rock, then maybe. But anyway, that is Garchomp in a nutshell. So my round 3 pick afterwards was, I wanted something that can complement Celesteela and Garchomp in terms of, well, the main thing I wanted to do was just make sure I have some sort of speed factor to go along with this, with Celesteela and Garchomp. And what can pressure both Garchomp and Celesteela is opposing fast mons, like offensively built teams that can like overwhelm both Celesteela and Garchomp. So with my round 3 pick, I ended up picking up Megalopony. So the idea with Megalopony is it pressures the fast, frail Pokemon that can take advantage of the passiveness of Celesteela and Garchomp if I do bring them more tanky. And of course, having that priority with Fake Out, Quick Attack, and of course, upon Mega Evolution getting Scrappy so I can hit those Ghost type Pokemon. It's just amazingly good, and it works very well with Celesteela and Garchomp because Megalopony does have that defensive backbone to fall back on, so it isn't just stuck there trying to take hits and whatnot. So and fast, hard-hitting attacker, can't go wrong with that. And of course, Megalopony is aided by Celesteela because Celesteela resists all Megalopony's weaknesses, being Flying, Psychic, and Fairy. And well, fighting attacks, no, to a lesser extent, but I do get a fighting check, so to speak, if you want to call it that. But that's pretty much Megalopony. I wanted something that can pressure opposing frail Pokemon, and Megalopony does do that job very well. So next up after Megalopony, I decided I wanted to get another versatile Pokemon from tier 2. So this Pokemon may be a little bit redundant because of why I just drafted a Megalopony, but with my round 4 pick, I ended up going with Infernape, and the reason why I went Infernape was because while dual fighting type Pokemon looks very, very weird, what Infernape does give my team, it gives my team another option in terms of versatility, because it can do Sword Stance, it can do Nasty Plot, another Choice Scarf user, more priority, and more importantly, I'm not hindered with the Mega Stone like I am with Megalopony. So, and plus on top of that, Pokemon that can usually check Megalopony like Defensive Lando T, Infernape can be Nasty Plot and take advantage of the fact that Lando T has to run like a fully physically defensive set. Like physically defensive Pokemon aren't going to do that much to something like a Nasty Plot Infernape. So just like a possible set right then and there. Another fast Scarfer I can put, so I'm not reliant on Garchomp to be my Scarfer or whatnot. And again, it's another versatile Pokemon in terms of an offensive threat that also benefits from taking out opposing offense and having Celesteela and Garchomp to benefit from switching in on resisted hits and whatnot. So, sorry about that. So that is pretty much Infernape in a nutshell. Also, before I go any further, I forgot to explain my nicknames and whatnot. So my nicknames are based off of people I know from the MPL server and some other servers that I am in. So Celesteela is nicknamed Omega after Omega Jolteon, who really wanted me to nickname Celesteela after him so he'll feel important. So there you go, Omega Jolteon, you're welcome. Garchomp is named Kurisu after my best friend Chris. Then we have Megalopony is Michaela because Keegan has an obsession with Michaela. And Infernape is nicknamed Leo after Leo, aka 6-foot Hacks. So there you go. I mean, what more do you want me to say about that? So, but anyway, moving on from there. So with my round 5 pick, I knew I wanted to get a strong Dark type. I didn't want to get something like Zoroark because then I'd be neglecting to try to get something bulkier. So round 5, we ended up picking up Alolan Muck, nicknamed after Lord Zeden. So Alolan Muck gives me the bulky Dark type Pokemon with access to knockoff. It also gives me a T-Spike Absorber. Gluttony and Poison Touch are very solid abilities just because I can run Figgy Berry, Gluttony, and all that stuff, and Poison Touch with Poison Jab. Essentially I have like a 51% chance to poison a Pokemon. It's very bulky on the special side, and it also gives me a Psychic check, which I didn't really have. It eases the pressure off of Celesteela at the very least to check Psychic types, considering all the resistances the Pokemon it has to check already as it is. And it gives me... But the main thing I wanted it for was a T-Spike Absorber with access to a strong knockoff, which Alolan Muck does get access to. So, very cool Pokemon. I always wanted to try out Alolan Muck. It was kind of a pain to deal with in terms of facing Alolan Muck, but now I got the chance to use it for the first time. So, yep, that is my Alolan Muck for the team. And then next up for round number 6, I wanted another bulky Pokemon, trying to get like a Psychic type or whatnot. I also wanted to try to get a Fairy type. I was really considering trying to get something like Sylveon, but I did not have the free points to get Sylveon, unfortunately. So what I ended up doing was I went a little bit lower down to Tier 4 to try to pick up my Fairy type, and the Fairy type I ended up picking up was Diancie. So Diancie may look a little bit redundant. Not really redundant, but it's a really underrated Pokemon when you look at it. I mean, its stats are very good. A unique rock fairy typing, so I have another normal resist, dragon switching. Its weaknesses are already covered by something like Celesteela. As Celesteela resists steel, it's immune to ground. Still don't have the water check in a sense. I have a little muck, but that's not really a water check in a sense. But Diancie gives my team another Stealth Rocker. More importantly, I have the Fairy type, so I have my Dragon Fairy Steel Core complete with Celesteela, Garchomp, and now Diancie. Gives me Heal Bell. It can be a solid attacker from the physical or special side. It's an underrated Pokemon in terms of offensive potential. Like Trick Room sets can be like very threatening to unprepared teams. So Diancie has a lot of versatility going for it. I really hope that Diancie puts in a lot of work for this team. I know it did the first time I used it. So yeah, that is Diancie for the team. So then from there, I decided to keep on the momentum train here, pick up another versatile Pokemon that isn't limited to just one set. So with my round 7 pick, I ended up going with Rotom, mainly because of the fact that I didn't have a grass type yet, first and foremost, and more importantly, I didn't have hazard removal. And with Rotom getting access to Defog now, I have the ability to run Defog on my Rotom. I have a Volt Switch user to complement stuff like Infernape with U-Turn, Baton Pass, Mega Lopunny, stuff like that. So I just want to have some sort of momentum to complement Infernape and to complement the rest of my team, just so I get like a fast Volt Switch that I'm running Choice Scarf, or slow Volt Switch that I'm running like a bulkier set. So it's a bit limited in terms of move coverage, but Electric plus Grass is a pretty good combination there. And of course Levitate, so I have another ground immunity, so that's pretty cool to have. But mainly Rotomo's job is just to come in, and this is primarily going to be my defogger. But considering how my team ended up being not that weak to Stealth Rock, it's more or less not going to be running Defog that often. If I do bring it, I'll probably just bring in situations where, like, if I had to face someone against Webs or Spike Stack or something like that. But other than that, Rotom is just going to be that main pivot for my team in terms of getting offensive momentum with Volt Switch and whatnot. So that is Rotom. Then from there, I figured that I needed to have at least some sort of bulky second type. I had some experience with Musharna from the MPA minors, but I felt as though it was a little bit too early to grab Musharna for round number 8. So I decided to go a little bit higher up in the tiers and see what was left in terms of psychic types. And the one Pokemon that was left that I actually wanted to try out using, that I'm really accustomed to because I do play a lot of PU, and that Pokemon ended up being Mesprit. So Mesprit, nicknamed Horus. I forgot about the other nicknames. I already mentioned Zidane for Alolan Muck for Lord Zidane from the MPO minors and from the Hive. Then we had we have Carney Hobo, the Rotom, because he is the self-proclaimed lover of all grass types. And we have Mio, the Diancie, because I don't have a Zygarde, and he insisted that he has to be Diancie. So that's pretty much the long and short of that. Then we have Horus here, the Mesprit. Even though Horus is not a dragon, it's still very good, and pretty much Horus, the most dedicated MPO fan I have ever seen in my entire life. Oh man, keep on keeping on, my dude. But in any case, Mesprit is also capable of doing so many things. It can be a bulky Stealth Rocker. This gives me 4 Stealth Rockers, excuse me. Let's say 3. So I have Infernape, I have Diancie, I have Garchomp, and now I have Mesprit. So it can be a bulky Stealth Rock setter. It can be Choice Specs. It can be Choice Scarf. It can be Calm Mind. It can be a lot of different things from my team, and I absolutely love how not only how versatile Mesprit is, but how bulky it is with very solid base 105 defenses, base 105 attack stats. The 80 speed doesn't really hinder it because it's still a pretty solid speed tier, but it's also very bulky for its position, especially considering a guy that's a tier 3. Normally when you skip Mesprit, you used to see a tier 4, but it is what it is. But that is pretty much Mesprit. Just wanted to have that versatile psychic type that can also be bulky and whatnot. So from there, I decided afterwards that I didn't really have a good water switch, and my water resist at this point was Rotomo, and I wanted to have something a little bit more versatile, something that can definitely take water attacks a lot better, that can definitely switch in without any problems. So with my round 9 pick, I picked up Seismitoad, named after Jolt, from Jolt from Token Minorities, who has Seismitoad himself in the GBA, and his Seismitoad is named after me, so I figured I returned the favor. It only seems fitting I do that. But basically, Seismitoad gives me another Stealth Rocker. It gives me 5 Stealth Rockers, but more importantly, it gives me a ground type that's not weak to ice, like Garchomp is. It gives me a water immunity, which I didn't have. And it just gives me a bulky overall switch in to physical or special attacks depending on how I EV it. It also gives me it also can be underrated in terms of being potential Swift Swim sweeper. I don't know if I'll actually bring Swift Swim Seismitoad. It doesn't really seem like something that you would commonly see on Seismitoad, considering that its main job is to come in and switch in on those water attacks, which is pretty much going to be Seismitoad's job from an initial standpoint. But if I do have the chance to run Swift Swim offensive Seismitoad, then I will do just that. So that is my Seismitoad, and my last 2 picks ended up being a tier 5 and a free pick, which happens to be another tier 5 Pokemon. That's all I had the points left for. So with my first tier 5 pick to complement the rest of my team, I ended up going with Tauros, nicknamed after Adam the Bee's Knees, because why the heck not? But Tauros, another fast Pokemon, getting Sheer Force, Body Slam, and all that stuff. Intimidating and Sheer Force, that's 2 great abilities to have on an offensive Pokemon like Tauros, especially considering it gives me another potential Choice Scarfer. Sheer Force helps with running mixed stuff like Fire Blast, Ice Beam, and all that stuff, so I can break down physical walls. But it also gives me that amazing base 110 speed, so I could speed tie with the Lotties at the very least. I speed tie with like Mega Gallade. I'm running Choice Scarf, I can definitely do a lot of damage to stuff like Mega Gallade, so it comes together really nicely as far as I'm concerned. That's a very hard hitting Pokemon, a hard hitting wall breaker, which admittedly I don't really feel like I had something that can just come in and hit hard right out the bat. Albeit I do have stuff like Infernape, Garchomp, but they're not really like super hard hitting in a manner of speaking. But at least with Tauros, Sheer Force boosted moves like Body Slam and Zen Headbutt, very solid coverage and all that stuff. So that is my Tauros. And with my last pick, so as far as my last pick is concerned, I didn't really have a plan for my last pick because I didn't know what was left, what was available. I kind of wanted to pick up another hazard remover, and I ended up drafting Hitmonchan, but I dropped Hitmonchan afterwards because that would give me 3 fighting types, and I wasn't desperate for hazard removal because nothing on my team is weak to Stealth Rock. Like Spike Stack could be a bit of a problem, because my only removal is Rotomo, but I feel like I can still handle Spike Stack pretty adequately. So what I ended up doing was I dropped Hitmonchan, I ended up picking up Glalie, because there was really nothing else much for me to grab at this point, because here I probably would have grabbed Garbodor if it was still there, but it wasn't. But at the very least, Glalie gives me something in terms of like a Suicide Spiker. It also gets access to stuff like Taunt. It's not really the most ideal Pokemon, but being that its main role is going to be like to come in and just get up hazards with spikes, and then set the way for my other offensive threats to just come in and pressure my opponent's team. Hazard Stack really benefits stuff like my Mega Lopunny. It benefits Celesteela. It benefits pretty much my entire team. and there really wasn't much left in terms of good spike stacking cores and whatnot. So yeah, that is my team. Sorry that my draft analysis isn't as informative or like in depth as normal, but I didn't really feel like repeating stuff that you probably should already know. So yep, that is my team, guys. We have the Celesteela, which is the Z Captain, Infernape, Alolan Muck, Mesprit, Diancie, Tauros, Megalopony, Garchomp, Rotom-Mow, Seismitoad, and Glalie. In terms of the battles themselves, I will be trying to upload team builders, but I don't know if I'll be able to upload them Friday or Saturday. But the battles themselves will definitely be going up starting this weekend. Actually, this would have been up a little bit sooner, but I didn't really have the time until recently to actually try to upload this video. So, because I really had no time because of all the stuff going on. But yeah, that is going to be my team, guys. This is the roster for the newly rebranded Miami Malamarlins, and I hope you guys are looking forward to this new journey in South Beach. So if you guys are excited about the new team and all that stuff, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and all that good stuff that goes along with it. Week 1 will be going up over the weekend, like I said. There will be a team builder. I don't know whether it'll be Friday or Saturday. It will go up, and then the battle itself will go up the following day. So we'll see how that goes. But until then, guys, I'm going to get the heck out of here. I know it's been a while since you last heard from me, but I am back, and the Miami Malamarlins are looking to claim some lives. So that's going to be it from me, guys. Hope you guys have a nice day and all that good stuff. And until then, I'm going to catch you guys next time. Later.